You're constantly held up and then thrown away. That's really what it is.
That's Izzy Odizor describing what the workplace sometimes felt like.
In a lot of the departments I worked in, I'm the only Black person, only Black woman. And so Black History Month comes along, Izzy, what are we gonna do for Black History Month, And so just like putting it on the only one Black person, or having my face put into campaigns without my permission.
What Izzy is describing is often labeled as tokenism, defined as the practice of making only a perfunctory or symbolic effort to do a particular thing, especially by recruiting a small number of people from underrepresented groups in order to give the appearance of sexual or racial equality within a workforce.
There's an illusion of equality, but that's not what's really happening.
Jamal believes many companies lack diversity and often hire people of racial backgrounds to appear more diverse. And many employees end up realizing this after they're hired, when they're given race-related responsibilities which they didn't even sign up for, or when their voices are not given much weight in the workplace.
I was actually hired to be the first woman of color executive director of a women's rights organization. But once I got into the day-to-day, it was very clear that my role was not what it was stated, and I had little to no decision-making power on anything. There was just no question I was being tokenized.
Many racialized individuals feel that their growth within a company is also impacted.
I've been put in a lot of positions where I've been asked to consult on very senior level things, but when the job that matches that comes up, you're not given that job and you're told you need more experience.
According to Stats Canada, in 2016, 27.5% of Black women and 27.7% of Black men between the ages of 25 to 59 received their bachelor's degrees, while 32.7% of non-Black women and 26.7% of non-Black men received a bachelor's degree. Not a big difference there, yet the unemployment rate for Black men and women between 25 and 59 years of age is almost twice compared to the rest of the population.
So why are we not seeing that translated into hiring practices? Why is it that most of the managers that are hired are still white or, not Black or not First Nation?
Some racialized employees say they have a hard time landing senior management roles.
In an environment that has marginalized, racialized people from positions of leadership, how are you going to ask for 15 years of leadership experience? That qualification is remarginalizing.
So what can organizations do differently to be more inclusive and not just use the guise of diversity as a measurement for representation?
Perhaps it's shifting our idea of what we see as a leader, shifting our idea of credentials and job applications where we think about what skill sets we're looking for. Maybe we're looking for skills rather than credits or merits, right? Or education.
Jamal says it's more than just an individual.
You have to think about, what are the values of my organization? Is my organization inclusive? Have I thought of everything? So before rushing to just hire a bunch of folks who are diverse and maybe who have different perspectives, let's look at that.
This can take time and money. So in the meantime, companies can also ensure to focus on accommodating individuals who may be feeling isolated because there aren't many people around them who they identify with.
If that's all we can afford right now, it's important to ensure that we do an internal audit and really create a sense of belonging for that person. That could look like thinking about the way your meetings are held, right? That they're not isolating one person, that they're inclusive to that person's learning environment. But also, I think it really is about changing the organization itself to be more inclusive.
Dr. Shawnee says hiring consultants to help create an inclusive culture is also another good approach.
There needs to be a dedicated committee with different people, different voices there to ensure that we can develop policies that promote the upward advancement of many Black and also racialized people.
Jamal says after the reignition of the anti-racism movement, many companies have started giving diversity in their workplace another thought. She says while this is great to see, companies really need to think about revamping their overall culture to include diversity, inclusion, and equality for all. Thanks for watching Global News. If you want to stay up to date on the latest breaking national and international news, be sure to subscribe to our channel.